Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a lot of the news of the day to catch you up on, like a new hotel coming to downtown, to a proposed winery in Placer County that has neighbors concerned about arsenic, among other things. But perhaps one of the biggest points of conversation today is the announcement from Governor Gavin Newsom. He's proposing new gun control laws be added to the U.S. Constitution. And gun violence is a real local issue. In addition to the mass shootings that we cover across the country, just last night, 7 people were shot in Sacramento's Del Paso Heights. Everyone is expected to be okay, but it's also the same area where a Grant High School student was shot and killed just hours before his graduation recently. Now, Governor Newsom's ideal new rules, they have a long road ahead of them before they could be enforced. So let's start with what the governor is actually proposing. So he put out this campaign-like video today calling for a 28th Amendment. Governor Gavin Newsom said that he wants to add to the U.S. Constitution to do 4 things. Number 1, increase the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. Number 2, mandate universal background checks. And number 3, require a reasonable waiting period for all gun purchases. And then number 4, ban assault weapons. Now, in order to do something like this, for it to even happen, 33 states would have to pass the same amendment. In addition to California, Congress would then have to call a constitutional convention, and those lawmakers would all have to agree on the same language. Some say that this is just a political stunt, but the author of the constitutional amendment that Newsom is now working with believes that this could create real change. Our political reporter Morgan Reiner spoke to Assemblymember Reggie Jones-Sawyer today. Take a look.
Here in California, we've probably had some of the best gun control laws, which has kept our numbers down when it comes to mass shootings. And we just felt that the rest of the country needed it. When you look at the Supreme Court and what they're doing to kind of overturn what we're doing here in California, it's just been distressful. And I think the governor is looking at this as we need to spread the wealth to other states. But more important, allow them the opportunity to come up with their own gun regulation laws.
The state assembly member hopes that all Democrats in the legislature will reach out to other state lawmakers to get this amendment passed. We are following breaking news involving former President Trump. He says that he has been indicted. This time he is facing at least 7 charges, including conspiracy and obstruction. This is in connection to the classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. Trump says that he is expected to be on court on Tuesday. All right, let's get to our other headlines of the day to see what people are talking about. 2 people are dead after a plane crashed. Federal investigators are now on their way to the Rio Vista Airport in Solano County. The fire department there says that the plane was circling in an unusual manner. 2 people were trapped inside, and we are working to get you more information on that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, a new hotel is planned for downtown Sacramento. The mayor released these renderings today. The hotel is going to be connected to the new convention center, and it will add 330 rooms to the area. And a proposed winery in Placer County has some neighbors excited and other neighbors concerned. Placer County supervisors are set to vote on the plans later this month. The so-called Project 8 winery is in the rural foothills community of Penryn. And Becca Habegger is taking us inside the debate in tonight's Main Point.
Alex, some neighbors' worries range from noise pollution to arsenic exposure. But the developer says he has already gone above and beyond in addressing those concerns. Mike Fournier is giving us a tour of his 175-acre property here in the Placer County community of Penryn.
We're racing the train.
His land includes 53 acres for growing grapes, plus a vista of the rolling Sierra foothills, which Fournier showed off by giving us a lift.
It's too bad, by the way, that it's hazy today, because normally we see the Sutter Butte, Mount Diablo, Sacramento.
This is where Fournier wants to build Project 8 Winery, also known as
Le Cavalier Cellars.
His plans for Project 8 include a production facility and wine caves, plus a 75-foot tall building with a tasting room and fine dining restaurant offering this panoramic view.
The topography, the terroir is very good for what we're doing. And we think that, we can do something iconic here.
Fournier says the vast majority of the immediately surrounding neighbors are in support of the project. But there's also a group of neighbors I spoke with who have a list of concerns they say have not been adequately addressed.
It takes some of the safety away from our community.
A little over 3/4 of a mile away as the crow flies, neighbor Patty Knifer says she's all for a new vineyard and tasting room in Penryn, but she thinks these plans go too far.
With that comes noise pollution. light pollution, traffic increasing.
And I'm particularly concerned with the arsenic.
Gabrielle Vindcasa lives a few miles away, but is on the local Municipal Advisory Council, whose members studied Project 8. She thinks the county has not done enough testing for arsenic, a naturally occurring toxic material that, with long-term exposure, can cause cancer and other health issues.
If there is dust that has arsenic in it, that can be a concern, but also in drinking water.
Vindcasa isn't only a neighbor, she's also an expert with a doctoral degree in public health and is an adjunct assistant professor of environmental health sciences at Columbia University. She points to soil sample test results in the project's environmental impact report, particularly one result showing a high concentration of arsenic taken from soil that had been about 20 feet beneath the surface.
Now, if the surface is low arsenic, but you excavate high arsenic soil and then place it as fill on top, you have created a public health hazard. What is a potential concern for the workers who work there during the construction, the workers who work there during the operation, the visitors and the neighbors?
I took these women's questions to Fournier. He points to additional arsenic testing that his company paid for above and beyond the requirements.
We got results that came back very favorable, showing that it was more of an anomaly, the level that we got on that one test pit. That having been said, we even went further. We went and over the winter, we took the runoff water and we had it analyzed to make sure there was no arsenic leaching off the site. Plus, we're going to do a soil management plan. We're going to do a dust monitoring plan. Ultimately, we don't want our employees exposed to arsenic.
He says they'll continue testing during construction and that much of the fill material will be capped with a road and the pad for a building. These neighbors say Fournier's answers don't satisfy their concerns. The fate of the project is now in the hands of Placer County supervisors.
And Becca joins us now. Becca, the developer also says that he's addressed the neighbors' other concerns as well.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate?
Absolutely. And Alex, we couldn't tackle everything in the story. I couldn't even get every neighbor in there. Sorry to Janet, but we had a good conversation with her as well. But in terms of the developer, for example, light pollution, he says he hired a lighting designer to ensure the lights in the tasting room point downward or inward so they don't shine out. In terms of noise pollution, he assures neighbors the tasting room and restaurant are enclosed with thick windows. There's no balcony, for example. And traffic, he says maps will take visitors on the short, quick, well-paved route just minutes from I-80, not through the winding, more rural roads of Penryn. Now, those neighbors have heard his answers before. They have hashed this out before in commission meetings and whatnot. The neighbors say they're still not satisfied.
And I do want to mention that the Placer County supervisors are set to vote on this project at a meeting coming up later this month. So we'll keep following it. Thank you, Becca. All right, coming up after the break, businesses around Sacramento's Freeport Boulevard broken into. Thefts happening in just a minute. So we're live with a warning from one karaoke lounge owner tonight.
And we are tracking thunderstorms, those thunderstorms pushing through the Sierra and even the coastal range. What changes we could see into the weekend.
And later in the show, June is Pride Month. Sacramento is holding its March and Festival this weekend, and we're digging into how Pride really got started. That's coming up. We cover break-ins a lot in local news, but right now some places around Sacramento's Freeport Boulevard may be getting targeted, and owners, they're sounding the alarm. Our Alicia Machado is live with the warning tonight. Good evening, Alicia.
Good evening, Alex. From the outside, it would be hard to even tell that here at Star KTV Lounge on Freeport Boulevard, thieves smashed the front door of this business. The owners have since replaced the glass, but video shows exactly what happened here. Those business owners sharing this video with ABC 10. It shows a man smash the front window and head for the cash drawer at the front checkout counter. Another person enters the business and ransacks the drawers below the counter. They then head over to the bar area to grab another drawer. All this happening around 4 a.m. Wednesday in a matter of minutes. Co-owner Enrique Valentino wants to raise awareness.
Other small business owners to be on alert. We don't know if this is like one group hitting certain restaurants or if they're part of a bigger organization.
Now back out here live, we will have much more on Enrique Valentino's message for the community, as well as their recovery efforts. Alex?
Alicia, before we let you go, I do want to ask you, are we hearing from other businesses about this too?
Well, Alex, yeah, a neighboring business tell us that they were broken into. We're also hearing from a business over in the Broadway corridor that was also burglarized. We'll have much more on that later tonight. Alex.
All right, Alicia, thank you. Coming up after the break, a 15-year-old's life is cut short after drowning in the Sacramento River trying to save his brother. That's after the break. Keep saying it over and over again. Our rivers are running fast and high, and people keep getting caught in the water. Just today, a Stockton man was recovered from the Yuba River. And then last night, we brought you the story of Amari Quarles. He was just 15 years old, a straight-A student at Natomas High School, and he died in the Sacramento River over the weekend while trying to save his brother. And his family is remembering him as a hero.
The first and foremost, he died a hero. He died to save somebody else's life, and he lost his in turn.
He is strong, and he went in there after his brother. He loved his brother. He loves his family.
Just devastating. And he had entered the river at Sand Cove Park to save his brother, who was chasing after a football. His family says that he loved football and music. So I want to go ahead and bring in Carly now, because tomorrow a big river rafting company out in Rancho Cordova, they're going to be opening again. They say that the levels have returned back to runnable flows, but people really still need to be safe out there.
They do. And even though it was temporarily suspended because, that water was moving very fast, things have slowed just a little bit now that we've had some time for that snow melt to kind of come through. But check out the temperatures here. They really haven't changed much from what we saw 2 weeks ago. When I changed and updated these numbers just hours ago, these numbers were only 1 degree warmer than what we saw just 2 weeks ago. So Sacramento River at 62 degrees, American at 56, San Joaquin at 68, Tuolumne River in Modesto at 55 degrees. And of course, those Sierra and foothill spots seeing temperatures as cold as in the 40s. Right now in the Big Mountain backyard, you are looking at temperatures in the lower 80s right now for Stockton, Modesto, Marysville. Sacramento not popping up, but we are right around 78 degrees with 55 degrees in Tahoe. Now, below normal temperatures, they're going to continue for at least the next 3 to 4 days, as we're going to see temperatures below the mid-80s. And 86 degrees is the average that we see this time of year. The afternoon still looking at mountain thunderstorms this weekend. We may have one day that takes a slight break, but otherwise should start picking up back again into those evening hours. Warmer temperatures, though, they could be on the horizon as we get to about this time next week, so about 7 days from now. We could start seeing those temperatures from the mid-80s to the upper 80s and potentially a couple of low 90s out there, kind of depending on where you are. There is a low pressure system circulating a lot of moisture into areas of the Sierra, bringing that instability and those thunderstorm chances to the area. Meanwhile, the valley and closer toward the coastline there, looking at partly sunny skies to mostly cloudy skies off and on. Still looking at thunderstorm chances on the horizon. And then again, as we move into Friday afternoon, you see some of those thunderstorms into your Saturday there. So we get a break on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looks like we see the return of those thunderstorm chances. But again, temperatures low 80s, mid 70s on Monday with more mid to upper 80s this time next week.
June is Pride Month, and this weekend, Sacramento will host its Pride Festival in March. It's being organized by the Sacramento LGBT Community Center, and Sacramento Pride first began in June 1979. Police raided a gay bar in Sacramento. Pride was a response to that raid months later. With a rise in attacks and legislation against the LGBTQ community, this year's Pride has great significance, and thousands of people are expected to be there.
This year's Pride feels like more of a statement, and we hope people are unapologetically happy about coming out and happy to be there and just provide that statement, and really showing our area and our region that this is a safe place and this is a place to celebrate and uplift your voice and where you can be you.
The Sacramento Pride Festival is this Saturday and Sunday at Capitol Mall, and the parade will be Sunday at 11 a.m. starting at Southside Park and then ending at Capitol Mall. Tonight, ahead of the Pride celebrations, our race and culture reporter Candace Red shows us the true origins of the LGBTQ+ movement.
Pride Month is celebrated each year in June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising.
It's really the beginning point of the modern gay and lesbian movement.
The mafia-operated Stonewall Inn was considered one of the most popular gay bars in New York City in 1969. Around that time, being gay was illegal in New York.
LGBTQ individuals have undergone great oppression and invisibility in society.
It was also illegal to serve alcohol to a gay person throughout the state until 1966. Many gay establishments operated without a proper liquor license, making it easy for police to raid gay bars and other places.
Back in the 60s, there were many laws on the books that criminalized the simple act of existing as a person who was LGBT, and that manifested itself as over-policing of the community.
On Saturday, June 28, 1969, New York City police in plain clothes raided the Stonewall Inn. Officers justified the raid with a search warrant, authorizing the police to investigate the illegal sale of alcohol at the bar.
Law enforcement would come into LGBT bars and, just arrest the patrons for being.
Primary sources available at the Library of Congress detail how the turning point came when police tried to put a lesbian in a patrol car. Officers forced the woman into the vehicle. In response, about 400 people outside of the bar tossed objects such as coins and bottles at law enforcement.
It turned into a whole protest movement. All sorts of marginalized groups were fighting for their rights and fighting to be recognized.
It was also illegal to wear fewer than 3 items of, quote, gender inappropriate clothing in New York in 1969. It was informally known as the 3-article rule, or 3-piece law. At Stonewall, police arrested several cross-dressers and at least 2 drag queens.
They realized they needed to do something to resist these kinds of oppression.
Around 4 a.m. the next day, the crowd at Stonewall dispersed. But by the evening, thousands of people showed up at the bar and in surrounding areas to fight for LGBT rights. The protests continued into the next week, with law enforcement violently clashing with protesters.
They were infringing on our rights. They were arresting us. They were beating us.
Over the next several days, LGBT supporters pushed the gay rights movement. On the 1-year anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, gay rights activists organized the first Christopher Street Liberation March and Gay Pride Week in New York City.
And they started the marches in New York to celebrate that, to celebrate the fact that they stood up for themselves.
About 3,000 to 5,000 people attended the march. Activists in other cities, including Los Angeles and San Francisco, organized Pride celebrations too.
Very quickly, it had a global impact, not only in Europe, in other parts of the non-Western parts of the world.
In the U.S., the last Sunday in June was initially celebrated as Gay Pride Day to recognize LGBT people and history. The day grew over time to a month-long celebration.
Pride is a celebration of all the things that the LGBTQ plus community never had. If we don't learn from the past, we're going to repeat it.
Pride is really about creating a better world for future generations. It's a celebration of how far we've come, but there's still work to be done.
And that was Candace Red reporting. And this just in tonight, President Biden will appoint a federal coordinator to address the increase in book bans enacted across different states. It's part of several new actions that he's announced today aimed at protecting the LGBTQ community. We're back right after this. All right, the NBA Finals continue here on ABC 10 tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we encourage you to stick around for the news after the game. Our John Bartel is sharing 5 of his favorite vacation destinations that you can get to with just a tank of gas.
Ever wonder what it's like to ride inside a tank? Well, head over to the American Armory Museum in Fairfield and you'll find out. This is one of the only places where you can ride inside a tank and climb inside a variety of military vehicles.
You know, when they get in here and they get in the seat and play with the stuff.
And not far from the Armory Museum is the Landing Craft Support Museum, another hands-on exhibit. Located on Mare Island and Vallejo, visitors can explore the inside of a retired gunboat and see what it's like to live on the ship.
They kind of pack you in here like sardines.
Well, they had a full 18 inches.
Bartell's Backroads Tank of Gas road trip airs tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right after the NBA Finals right here on ABC 10. As always, let me know if there's something you want me to look into. We'd love to hear from you. All you can do is just text me or email me at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you later. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.